Hey team,
Hi,
Hi.
Osher.
good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Hi. So I will warn you that my dog is here and occasionally will probably shout out. So sorry about
Okay.
That's okay.
that.
Our cat is here, and he likes to jump on things.
Yeah.
So,
Well, heaven forbid Frankie sees the cat, because then shit's really going to go down.
How was your break?
It was great. I took a week to go away with my wife, which was nice. We have this situation where our kids are on exchange in another country right now, and during that time we decided it would be a ace idea to renovate our bathrooms in our apartment. So that's why I'm in a hotel room right now, and that's why we're like, well, we can't move home. We may as well go away. So
yeah.
it was good. I haven't had a holiday in a long time, and it was really nice to not only make a week but also defend a week and spend that just with my wife, which was really good. And holidays can be, we're going to do this and then we're going to have lunch and then we're going to do that, then we're going to have dinner and then we're going to go to that, or it can be just going to lie by the pool and read a book. And that's pretty much what we did, and it was pretty good.
So I guess we're going to start off with talking about your vegan journey and why you became vegan.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Your vegan journey and why you became vegan.
Right. It's funny that we're on a Skype call and I've got Bluetooth headphones in and I can't hear you, but I still lean in. Oh, why did I choose to eat this way? Well, firstly, I'm a little reluctant to say that I'm vegan. It is a word that some people who identify with being vegan, can have, in my experience, a very dogmatic, almost like a heavy nightclub bouncer. You're not allowed in because you do this.
Yeah.
And for me, I understand that. I understand that different people approach a life of, trying to, eat this way differently. However, that's not for me. So while it's easy to explain to someone in a restaurant, I'm vegan, they understand it. It's a one word that explains to a waiter or waitress, this is what it is. It's like saying I'm celiac, which I'm also celiac. It's like, I'm vegan celiac. They go, oh, okay, we can make something. That's easy. I prefer to say that I'm plant-based because I approach and have always approached eating this way from a environmental perspective, and that then led to approaching it through a compassionate perspective. But it was from the environmental impact that I initially went, and then was very grateful that I didn't have to kill anything so that I could live.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, I think it's futile to expect that in this modern industrialized world that every single object that I am associated with that is not of plant origin is free of animal suffering. I feel that is extraordinarily difficult to achieve. Trying to live my life doing the least harm that I can is what I aim to do. I bought a pair of board shorts when I was away, and they look really great on the rack, and I got them home, and I was going to put them on for the first time, and I looked at the end of the drawstring. They've got a leather flugel binder. I didn't see that when I bought that. I bought it. Do I take it back? Do I still wear it? So I have a new pair of board shorts. And I think it's if you in my experience, trying to set myself up to live a life where I have absolutely no interaction with deliberately causing any animal suffering, that can be a recipe for just doing your head in. All right. Trying to be. I have no idea in the supply chain of, my glasses that I'm wearing now, if at some point some animal byproduct wasn't used. But then when I find that out, do I then no longer wear these glasses? It's I find that you can set yourself up, in my experience, setting yourself up for an impossible achievement. And
Seeing as you've been plant-based for so long, have you seen a transition with it being a lot easier these days than what it was back when you first started?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And bear in mind, when I first started eating this way, I was living in Bondi Beach, which is a very easy place to live. and eat this way,
Yeah.
especially eating out. No, it is extraordinarily different now, and now I'm very present to having recently been diagnosed celiac, and I'm very grateful to the thousands and thousands of people that have come before me that have pressured restaurants to put gluten-free things on their menus.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to explain that, if I eat gluten, it's going to dissolve my small intestine and potentially give me cancer, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Simon's actually celiac and vegan as well.
I beg your pardon?
Simon's also celiac and vegan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're both.
Here we are. I'm thinking opening up a restaurant chain, calling it VGF.
Oh,
So
I like that.
vegan, gluten-free, but also very good food.
Yeah.
So,
We can cut this out of the video so no one knows about your new venture.
well, look, I know nothing about opening restaurants, so I doubt it's going to happen. But if someone does that, you go right ahead. Call it very good food. Call it very good food, and then in brackets, vegan, gluten-free.
I like it. I like it a lot. So how have you found traveling and TV sets for plant-based eating?
Well, they're two different things. TV sets, as the incredibly privileged position that I have of being one of the people on camera, I can ask for food. And so occasionally when we were touring with Idol back in the day, it was difficult because, yes, I can get away with just a lettuce and tomato salad as a meal.
Yeah.
But every meal?
Yeah.
You're going to be wanting to eat a lot of it to get the amount of proteins and amino acids into your body.
Yeah.
So you can get away with eating that, but you're just going to eat kilograms of it to get the right amounts of those amino acids into your body.
Yeah.
So there were some tricky times there, but now it's pretty easy. But to be honest, though, we're about to shoot Bachelor in Paradise, which means we go away to Fiji for a month, and we're on location. And since my celiac diagnosis, I've learned a thing or two about food separation, or a thing or two more about food separation, and how sensitive my situation is. So we have a shipping container that goes over with all the heavy lighting things and big kind of television production machines that we need, big kind of camera stands and big light stands and stuff. Into that shipping container, I put about 9 kilos of beans, my pressure cooker, 5 kilos of rice, chopping boards. I'm actually emailing my production manager right now about getting a folding table for my room. So I'll be cooking for myself when I'm away.
Nice.
And that means that I will have 100% peace of mind that I won't get sick. Because it's now the celiac diagnosis is a part of things, and my gastroenterologist was very clear when he explained the risks I face. I was like, I can't fuck with this. I've got to be on point here. And it's too much to expect a kitchen at a resort that's catering for so many people to create one super special sterile area to only prepare one person's food when they're trying to make 400 other people's meals that night. I don't feel it's okay to ask that. So it's nothing for me to put a pressure cooker in the container, and I'll be making food, and I've even got some little warming containers so that I can make my dal and rice and put it in the warming container, because otherwise I'll be alone. Right? That's the other thing about beating the odd person out. You don't want to eat alone. So I'll put my warming thing in my warming container and then toddle off to dinner with everybody else, so I can at least sit with people.
That's nice.
And that's also really important, to connect with other people over food, which we've been doing for thousands of years. I'm doing that.
That's good.
Have you found a lot of people around you, like friends, etc., wanting to learn more about a plant-based lifestyle?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, because I've been eating this way for so long, it's just, it's how I've always eaten. And whenever people ask, I have the same answer to everything. Like, it's not an ingredient, it's just a collection of amino acids. As long as I eat a right amount of, a variety of foods through the day, I get everything I need.
Yeah.
No, it's no problem. I've run marathons, many marathons, climbed mountains, ridden my bike 100 miles at a time, never had a problem. Everything's fine. Yes, you get everything you need. That's right. No, I'm not 10 years younger than you think I am. I actually am this old. Yes, because I think it's because I eat this way.
Yeah.
So, I tend to have the same conversation with people, which they're often quite surprised. But most surprisingly, because I've eaten this way for so long, it's not news to anyone. But since the men's health thing, people are quite like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I put on 2.5 kilos of muscle in 10 weeks.
Yeah, that was actually
just eating plants.
That's our next thing. Is how was that? Like, what were your feelings when you got the cover of Men's Health, and what did that mean?
It meant an extraordinary amount to me. I always said, I'd never taken my shirt off willingly in a photograph for gain. And I always said, if I ever were to do it, I will only ever do it for the cover of Men's Health magazine.
Wow.
And I did. And I'm the first plant-based person in Australia to ever do it.
Wow.
And if you read the article, though, the article doesn't say anything about lifting weights or eating. The article's all about mental health and alcohol and drinking. But it meant a lot to be able to communicate to that portion of our society that sees that picture as a legitimacy.
Yeah.
People can see that picture, and then you might have their attention for maybe one more sentence.
Yeah.
All right? So if that next sentence is, no, my body changed and I look like this because of managing my mental health. Huh? And then you might have them. Then you can have a conversation. Or, yes, my body changed and I look like this, and it was all chickpeas and rice, some tempeh, a bit of tofu, a few protein shakes on the off days. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then you got them. All right? And, we live in a society where, a visual aesthetic is an achievement that people chase.
Yep.
That being able to show that, and I know a guy that's put on 8 kilos of muscle in 12 weeks.
Wow.
Plant-based.
Wow.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
All right? This whole idea that you need to be shoving animal proteins into your body to get muscle is an utter fallacy.
Yeah.
And that is, as far as long-term health ramifications of eating that amount of animal protein, that's the part that is often conveniently left out of, it's science, man. Just look at the science. So the men's health thing was really important, and it's given me a gift of being far more I wasn't a very clever vegan. I was a toast-based vegan. If it fit on toast, I'd eat it. So yes, I was eating plant-based, but I was eating very good food, and I wasn't eating a wide variety of food, and I basically wasn't giving my body enough of everything that it needed. And now, though, I feel that through doing the men's health thing, I've learned a lot more about variance in my food and making sure that I change things up and making sure that I get enough fruits and vegetables through my day. But then again, I'm also more and more present to the fact that this is an incredibly privileged position to be in. Here we are, 3 white people in an affluent society talking about choosing to eat vegetables, whereas not everybody has that choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, not everybody has that. And if you do it right, you can do it quite cheaply. Like I said, that 9 kilos of beans and 5 kilos of rice is less than $30, and that's going to feed me for a long time. All right, it's not that expensive.
No,
but not everyone has that access to the amount of fresh fruit and vegetables that is required to live like this. And I feel it's important in having this discussion to have the discussion about accessibility of this this dietary choice or this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it is in many ways, it is a position of privilege.
Yeah.
And trying to find, I certainly saw that living in Los Angeles when a pound of broccoli, or a half kilo of broccoli, is $3.
Yeah.
And you can buy a Happy Meal for $3. What are you going to feed your kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
That's a very, very real problem when it comes to the larger society's adaptation of eating a diet that's better for them in their health. Personally, better for the global ecosystem we all live in, and better for a sentient being that would otherwise be slaughtered for that.
Absolutely.
So, your new book is out.
Yes.
Back after the break. How long were you writing that for, and was it really therapeutic for you?
When you write a book, you end up writing it 4 times. So you write the first draft, and then they, go back and they pull a whole bunch of stuff out, and then you have to write it again to make it work. Now all that other stuff's been pulled out, and you may want to put some stuff back in, and then you write it again when they do a copy edit, and then you write it again when it's a lot. It's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
I did find therapeutic. I don't know if it was therapeutic, but I felt that it was I constantly had to remember that I'm writing this book because I want to pay back the great kindness that was done to me by someone sharing their story with me, and it making my situation feel less strange, less frightening, less alone. And that's where the prism through which I looked when I wrote the book. And remembering that was the key, was important. And, remembering as well that the story's not about anybody else, it's about only me, and having the foresight or not the clarity to, tell just my part of it. All right. And if there was a situation that I might have been wronged in, or a situation where I felt I'm hard done by, that might be the case. I might find people that would agree with me, though it's got no place in a book, because I don't know the other person's side 100%. I don't know their intention, and there's no reason to throw anyone under a bus in a book.
Yeah.
For I will never know their full intention. So just making sure that, I only ever wrote from my part was really important. And I'm grateful that I did, because it helped me. One thing I've learned in sobriety is that it's important to keep your side of the street clean. It did help me very much to focus on what was my role in this. So I try to constantly to only ever write about what was my role in this, and then you kind of go, yeah, I was a bit of a dick. Yeah, I fucked that up. Yeah, okay. And it's important that we take responsibility for these things.
Yeah. You've got podcasts, social media, lots of different varieties of getting your message out to people. Why the book? Why not a different medium to sort of put that message out?
It's super important when you only get a chance to tell a story to someone once for the first time. And it's very important to share the story in the right context and in the right form of content. I didn't feel that I would have been able to do justice to the experience of experiencing episodes of psychosis and active and passive suicidal ideation through an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Or 200 and whatever Twitter feed, or a Facebook post.
Yeah.
It requires because none of these things happen in a vacuum. It requires the chapters and chapters and chapters of things leading up to these moments that allow all those things to make sense. And a book is the perfect format for that. I could have done it in a live storytelling show, but then it would be a 15-hour-long show and only 200 people at a time, and that would be hard.
Yeah.
So a book was it. A book was and it has been a good thing, because it's also a message that someone can give to another person. It's something that can be experienced on your own time. It's something that can be experienced again. Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. Frank. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? There's somebody. Hey. Come here, buddy. Come here. Sorry, there's someone outside taking a photo.
Hi.
It's okay. Hey, cool it, man. It's a toddler. It's a small toddler being filmed taking their first steps, mate. You might have to walk one day too, pal. You don't understand that. You're a dog. Yeah, he's having, because we're in a hotel, he's having a hard time, all the different noises and smells and everything. But it's okay, buddy.
So how did you come up with the idea of signing books in airports?
So my manager's idea. She has I share a manager with an extraordinary young Australian lady by the name of Lola Berry, and Lola Berry is a total bandit for that sort of thing. Yeah. And Lauren said, you should do the thing that Lola does. You should go and be a ninja in the airport. Yeah. It's been really fun. It's like a little treasure hunt, and you ask the person behind the counter. It's lucky because my face is on the book. You go, hey, I wrote this. Can I sign some for you? Yeah, that'd be great. So you sign a couple, and you leave a little Instagram thing going, hey, by the way, it's here. Come and get it. And then 5 minutes later, someone goes, hey, I got it. That's fun. That's fun treasure hunting.
That's really good.
I'm never at the right airports.
Yeah, following you through your airport journey. We're just after a book. We're not actually.
Perhaps. Perhaps. You never know. I'm actually trying to get some that I can on my own, so I can sign them and send them out. Yeah. But the off chance that you happen to be in Sydney Airport in the right terminal when I'm there, it'd be a bit tricky.
Is it tough to keep coming up with different bits of content to keep it going, like keeping it fresh all the time?
Look, social media is not an obligation.
True.
We choose how often we engage with it.
Yep.
We are not obligated to constantly be on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We choose how much we do it. Could I be better about how often I check the damn thing? Absolutely. But we choose what we share.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's pretty simple. I'm trying to when it comes to whatever I put online, it's just trying to, does this fit the message that I'm trying to put out there with the overarching core of what it is that I'm trying to do with my work? If it's a yes, then it goes up. If it's a no, then it doesn't. Is this a picture from my Instagram, or is this a picture just for the guys I play poker with? Probably just for the guys I play poker with.
Saw you hanging out with our PT in Melbourne, Mike.
Oh, right. That's fine. Yeah, he's an interesting cat.
He is.
He's an interesting cat. Yeah.
He's bubbly.
I like him. He's massive. My God. He's a big man.
Yeah.
He has a nutritionist in his life, doesn't he? He has a nutritionist in his life, doesn't he?
Yes, his wife, Talitha.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you can tell he's eating right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is that's the one thing that when people ask me about it, the number one thing about that is you can't out exercise a bad diet, and you can only accentuate what you do in the gym with food.
Yeah.
But if you're eating, if it might be vegan, but if you're eating 2 slices of cheesecake and a coconut milk smoothie, mate, that's 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
I just rode Amy's Grand Fondo up and down through the Otway Ranges, 120 kilometres with 2,000 metres of elevation. It took me 5 hours.
Wow.
That was 3,000 calories.
You're not going to do that every day.
Remember what you're putting in your mouth, and if you don't burn that off, it's going to end up as fat. It's pretty simple.
Very true. If you could go back and tell yourself something, like if you could go back and talk to a 10-year-old Osher, would you give him any words of wisdom, or what would you say to yourself back then?
10.
Yeah.
I would tell 10-year-old me, I would try to teach 10-year-old me a form of emotional regulation. I would try to, because when you're 10, you can't have a grown-up can come and tell you that don't worry, the bullies will be gone one day. That doesn't matter. Your world is nothing but that. And don't worry, yeah, your parents are fighting a lot, but everything will be fine. Doesn't matter. You are trapped in this.
Yeah.
What you can do is control your reactions. So I would try to teach 10-year-old me a couple of breathing exercises to help regulate emotion so that when those adverse situations did show up, that there was a way to deal with it that didn't involve diving into the refrigerator or later diving into the refrigerator for beer. That's what I would teach 10-year-old me. You can't talk about CBT to a 10-year-old.
No.
You can only teach him how to breathe. I'd teach him how to breathe and I'd teach him how to relax.
Last question.
The last question we ask everybody, what's your favourite veggie?
My favourite vegetable. Ooh, that's a goodie. The chickpea.
Oh,
The chickpea is my favourite vegetable.
nice.
It is, you can do so much with it. You can use it just by itself in a salad. You can bake it. You can dry it. You can have it as a snack. You can mush it up and make it into falafel. You can mush it up even more and you can make it into hummus. You can mush it up even more and make it into besan flour. It's an extraordinarily versatile vegetable. It's so nutritious and so tasty.
Yeah.
I love the chickpea.
Yeah.
That is my favourite vegetable.
Well, thanks so much for the time today, Osher.
All right.
Adios, legends. Good to talk to you.
See ya.
Thanks, Osher.
Bye. Bye.